Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Sumaya. I'm actually currently still a postdoctoral research fellow under Department of Medicine. I'm welcoming you to our Master of Internal Medicine SPSS workshop. Okay, so for this workshop, I will talk more on tips and tricks for you to run your data analysis. Okay, and also a bit of hands-on, but not so much because due to limited time. Okay, and also will give you some motivation to to uh, give you some confidence on conducting data analysis and to be an expert in the data analysis in medical research. Okay, thank you for joining us. So let's start with identify the issue and barriers in any data analysis. Usually when I meet a student, they have this kind of problem or hardship in starting the data analysis where they don't know where to start and how to start. Okay, and then they are not sure on what type of analysis should be conducted for the study. Okay, and when they have conducted the study and they have conducted data analysis, they don't know how to interpret the output, SPSS output. Okay, and lastly, if even they know what is the finding, they're actually not sure on how to report the finding in the manuscript, how to tabulate and how to illustrate it using figures and charts and also. Okay, so this is the kind of barriers for them to conduct the data analysis. Okay, so now we know that what is the barriers and what is the issue on data analysis. Actually, this is all what is the reason behind all this issue. I think the most important thing is the mindset. Okay, please don't think SPSS is so hard or statistics is so hard, because if you have set your mind like that, it won't be an easy journey for you to conduct the data analysis. SPSS in fact is actually a for social science. So I believe all of you who have the very good background on pure science, this should be a very simple things for you to digest and also to learn. Okay, so a statistic is not a field for mathematical geeks, is for everyone. So okay, we'll proceed. Let's start with the end in mind. Okay. What is the end product of the data analysis? So usually we expect three things. Okay, the first is the high quality data, which is can produce a relevant, meaningful, and most important, accurate findings. And then we also expect tables. Okay, so we need to tabulate our findings from the raw data. Okay, and the table should be as informative as it can and should be as simple as it can be. Okay, and then we need to visualize the data if we want to identify patterns or trends. Okay, so the data visualization is actually a tool or medium to help the readers to understand your study findings without actually going through reading through your manuscript. Okay, so generally there is two type of statistic in medical research. Okay, it's either a descriptive statistic or inferential statistic. Okay, so we will go through these two type of statistic more in depth in this workshop. Okay, so as introduction, descriptive usually measure central tendency and spread, while inferential, if you want to do an estimation and also to test your hypothesis. Okay. As I promised, I will talk about the tips on how to conduct data analysis. So let's start with our first tips. Okay, what is the first tip on conducting data analysis? Actually, is to believe in yourself. Okay, you need to believe that you can do it yourself. Don't ever think that you pass this works to a statistician or any PhD student to do it for you. Actually, you can do it yourself. Okay, when you want to, you want to do it, you will do it. Okay. Next is actually know your variables. Okay, just now it's just some motivation for you to give you to inject some confidence. Okay. First thing first is to know your variables. Okay, when you are doing your proposal, you already know why you choose this independent variable or this independent variables. Okay, so what is variables? Anything that varies. Okay, assume different values and categories. The opposite of variable is constant. Okay, so we have independent variables. Okay, dependent variables. Okay, so you know your x and y. So when you know your x and y, your graph won't be wrong. Okay, so usually x is the horizontal. Okay, vertical, sorry, horizontal, vertical axis is the y. Okay. Next, you should identify whether your study is experimental research or non-experimental research. What is the difference? Okay. Experimental research is where you manipulate the independent variables. The non-experimental research is where you does not manipulate the independent variables. Example is like prevalence study. Okay, so you don't actually look at the effect or the association of this independent variable to the dependent variable. Okay, and then you also should know that your data or variable can be used to answer your objective, and it is quantifiable. Okay, so we need to have a meaningful data. Okay, so the first thing first is to know your variables. Okay, so this actually very common, but none actually have highlighted this process. Okay, actually we actually need to know our variable before conducting the data analysis. Okay, what is variables or data? Okay, usually there are two type of data. Just now I mentioned quantitative, quantifiable. What does it mean? Okay, what is the difference between qualitative and quantitative? Okay, so qualitative or categorical, it can be a nominal, dichotomous, or ordinal data. Example, the nominal data is like ethnicity, right? Malay, Chinese, Indians. Okay, for dichotomous, it should be yes or no. Okay, usually like that, right? And then ordinal, where the nominal can be ordered, like severity of pain, like mild pain, moderate pain, severe pain. So we can see the order or the increment of the category. Okay. Next is quantitative. Quantitative can be divided into a discrete and also continuous variable. Okay. Discrete is like a counted variable. Example, number of children. Okay. It's not a continuous. Okay, you can only count the maximum, maybe 10, 20. Okay, it's quite a lot already. Okay, and then continuous, it can be something that we measured. It can be ratio and interval. So the ratio we have an absolute zero, where interval is where we don't have absolute zero. Example for interval is temperature, right? Zero means something. It's not absolute zero. It's a freezing point, right? But for the ratio, zero means absolute zero. So when you are measuring length, 0 cm means no length at all. Okay. That's what how we um, differentiate between ratio and interval. Second tip is to clean your data. Okay, we would like to avoid the go and reroll. If you know garbage in, garbage out, okay, rubbish in, rubbish out. Don't ever think that uh, your data will be accurate if you don't clean your data first. So the issue that common in data is like typos, okay, missing data and duplicates. So do not worry, we will discuss further on how to clean your data in the next session. Okay. The third tips, okay, prior the and data analysis is to check on normality. Do your normality test. This is important to decide whether the data is suitable for a parametric test or non-parametric test. So again, do not worry. In this online workshop, I will talk more on normality and how to decide whether it's a non-parametric test or parametric test. Okay. Fourth tips is actually to start analyzing it. Okay. This is where we start to connect the dot. Okay. The analyzing it is not on the SPSS, but start in your mind. Okay. So how to connect the dots. Okay. For this type of variable, what type of statistical tests involved? Okay. For this type of objective, which tests are appropriate? Okay. How can I present the data? So this is all questions you should ask yourself before you click on your SPSS to run the analysis. Okay. And then the last thing will be stop playing with your data, because it's a very common thing that we got going on and on to run our data and we don't know where to stop. You should know when to stop. Okay, when especially is when it has answered your objective. Okay, so don't play around until you got distracted. Okay, so be focused. Okay, you try to answer your objective. Okay, and when the result makes sense and able to tell a story, this the last two ones is actually depends on your expertise. Okay, sometimes you need to ask someone experts in your field, okay, to actually read your findings and to give some opinion on that, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Okay. If at first you don't succeed, okay, try 2 more times so that your failure is statistical significant. So he's just kidding. Please stop and get some help. Okay, get some help. You can ask your friend, you can ask your supervisor, or you can find a statistician to conform with your data analysis. Okay. Okay. Let's start with touring the SPSS interface. Okay. Basically, there are two types of interface in SPSS: data view and also variable view interface. Okay, so you can find it at the edge, the left end of your SPSS interface. The two buttons there, data view and variable view. So you can click on that and it will come out like this: variable view and data view. Okay. So in the data view, there are actually no headings up here, But in the variable view, they will put a heading on the column, each column, as a name, type, width, decimals, labels, values, missing, okay, column, line, measure, row, okay. So this is the difference between variable view and data view. Okay, on the data view, you can see your data, and variable view, you can see your list of variables. Preparing the database. Okay, so usually when we want to prepare the database, we go to the variable view. Okay, so the issue or the problem or the constraint or the common I see mistake. Common mistake in preparing database usually is when you want to insert the name of the variable. Okay. Sometimes when you put the name and then they come up, variable name contains an illegal characters. What is the illegal characters? It's either spaces, okay, or you put like asterisk, okay. So to substitute your space, you can use underscore, like next of skin, next underscore of underscore kin, okay. Second one is the second column will be the type. What is this column about? Actually, we would like to assign or we would like to determine our variable type. Okay, the numeric or comma or dot or scientific notation, date, dollar, string. Okay, usually if you are transferring your data from Excel to SPSS, by default the data are in string. So this is the common problem encountered by the student when they transfer the Excel to SPSS. Okay, so please remember to change it to numeric. Okay, but before change it to numeric, you need to make sure it's not in words. Okay, sometimes you instead of labeling as 10, you put yes no, and then you put numeric. The result will the data will be um, deleted by SPSS. So you need to make sure it is in numbers before change it to numeric. Okay. Okay. Width. Okay. So usually it depends on the number of characters of the data. So you will need to click the upper arrow to add the width or lower arrow to reduce the very simple one. Okay. And then decimal, it can only be edited if the type is numeric. So when you try to edit decimal and then it won't work, it may be your type of your variable hasn't changed to numeric yet. So you need to change it to numeric, then only you can adjust your decimal. Okay. Okay. Label column. Okay. Label column is where you label your variable. We know that in our name column, we could not put any illegal characters like space. So in label, now you can use space. Spaces are allowed, and it's important to fill it to avoid confusion. Otherwise, by default, SPSS will read it as var0001, which is variable 0001. So it's not very nice. So I think it is advisable to spell out your variable name in the label column. Okay. Next, values. This is where you name your categories. Okay. Remember, we have two type of data: continuous and categorical data. This is specifically for categorical data, whether it's dichotomous, nominal, or ordinal. So nominal, example, ethnicity, right? They Chinese Indian. The dichotomous, a yes no thingy. So 0 means no, 1 means yes. Okay. So if you are putting ordinal data, like what the example is, okay. Number 1 is salary less than 2,000. Number 2, 2,000 to 5,000. Okay. Number 3 is 5,001 to 10,000, and 4 is 10,000 and above. So this is where you practice your principle of good measures. Make sure it is no overlap and enough categories, and it's all the data determine the same thing. So it's about salary, so you should indicate salary. Please don't put ethnicity category there. Okay, so I will talk more on principle of good measures in the next lecture. Okay, next is missing column. Okay, why do we need to insert or put numbers to assign missing values? Because missing values is actually common in any study. Okay, usually if less than 5% it is acceptable. Okay, so but we still need to um, identify or put values on the blank box. Okay, so the number of character of missing value depends on your data. So if you are measuring height and then there is missing data on height, so maybe you can use 999 instead of 99, because we all know that maximum height is 170 or 200, right? So it won't be a 2000, right? So you can use 9999. Okay, example. Measures. Okay, so this is where we assign the type of variable again. Instead of it's either scale or ordinal or nominal. So there are three. Okay, so scale is for continuous, ordinal is for ordered categorical, and nominal is non-ordered categorical data like ethnicity, and then dichotomous data like female or male, yes or no. Okay, or yeah, the presence of comorbidities. Okay, disease, hypertension, yes or no. So it's a nominal. Okay, so you need to assign the measure. This is most important in your non-parametric test. You will encounter a problem if you don't assign at the, when you are preparing your database. Okay. So I actually uploaded an introduction to SPSS. Okay, please check out my YouTube channel, so you can find the introduction to SPSS videos. Okay, and also I've uploaded how to import data from Excel to SPSS, because some doctors are prefer to put it in Excel first before transfer to SPSS, because sometimes like databases like Recap, they actually allow you to download it in Excel form, and then you need to convert it to SPSS. So I have also uploaded in my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Okay. So I think that sum up my first lectures: introduction to data analysis and medical research, introduction to SPSS, and the database preparation. So please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any problem. Okay, thank you.